Hi guys, Toy Junky here. I've got a review today of some Majorette cars. Now, if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I absolutely love Majorettes. However, they're the old Majorettes that I have always loved. I've never ever had any of the latest type Majorettes, the new generation of Majorettes. So this will be quite interesting to see how these compare to the old ones. If they're any good compared to them, if they're better or if they're worse. Be interesting to see if they've got suspension and to see if the overall quality is just as good as what the old Majorettes from when I was a child were like. So we've got three Majorettes here. We've got a Mustang Boss, I think that is, BMW Z8, and I think this is a Camaro, but we'll soon see once we open them. That's one thing that I would say about these Majorette boxes. They don't actually tell you what the cars are. Unlike Hot Wheels and Matchbox and a few other manufacturers, they actually tell you somewhere what they actually are. So unless you know cars, it's sometimes a little bit difficult. Just having a look just in case it does actually say something and makes me out to be a complete liar. No, definitely doesn't say. No, it doesn't say. Doesn't say at all. But we'll start with this one, which is a Mustang Boss. Luckily, I am quite good on knowing different cars, but not everybody knows every car, and I don't know every car. So let's have a little look. So we'll open it up. First things first. Suspension. How cool is that? Look at the detail on the back of that. That is brilliant. Boss. Badge on the front there. This is nice. Doors don't open. Some Majorettes, I understand, do open. Now this is a little bit different compared to old Majorettes, and it's got a plastic base. But if you look in there, it's still got the spring for the suspension. And obviously they're no longer made in France, made in Thailand. Incidentally, the factory that they actually made Majorettes in a few years back, when the tsunami hit on Boxing Day, the Majorette factory was actually flooded, washed away. So obviously they've got a new factory which they build all these cars in. Look at the speed of that. Nice sound as well. Notice it's got a different sound. I wonder if that's because it's rear wheel drive. That's the sound of the engine driving the rear wheels. Don't even spin on. It's good that. Let's do the BMW next. So this is the Z8. You don't see many of these cars on the road. These are a bit of a modern day classic. A nice weight. And incidentally, I actually work for BMW, and I've never ever seen one of these since I worked for BMW. That's how rare these cars are. Door doesn't open on this one either. Shame it's got no painted on rear lights, that's a bit disappointing. I might actually strip the paint off this one and paint it a different colour actually. Love the suspension. Look at the suspension on that. That's just brilliant. I've got to say I'm more impressed with these than I ever thought I would be. There's a paint defect there. Those two bumps are just for the washer jets. So there, look, they've got a bit of a defect on the paint. Looks a little bit weird at the front as well. I suppose if you had a black tampo around there, it would look quite good. So maybe we'll do that. Look at that. And all the detail on the back. Twin exhaust pipes. I don't actually know a lot about these cars, to be fair. The Z8. All I do know is obviously it was in James Bond. It was actually in the James Bond movie before they actually were launched on the streets. Other than that, I don't really know a lot more. It's a whole lot better car than Z4. Hopefully the new Z4 when it comes out will be up to par with this, but we'll see. Right, and this one is a Camaro. Camaro and the Mustang are very similar cars. Always have been quite similar cars. Obviously very slightly different shape, but you know, they're based on the same sort of thing. Big rivals. One thing I did hear when they first originally brought out a Camaro, somebody asked the engineers at Chevrolet, what is a Camaro? And they turned around and said, Camaro is a small animal which eats Mustangs. See? Quite clever. I love the little detail on the front grille there. Look, it's even got a Chevrolet badge there. Not much suspension at the front, but enough. Bit on the back. Now this doesn't freewheel quite as well as the other two. And doesn't have that nice sound. Still got loads of suspension though. Nice car that is. Love the colour. Oh, and the door's open. Yay! Inside there. I like that. I always used to think that the Mustang was a nice looking car all the way through its life, but I think the later version of the Camaro is a much nicer car. Detail on the back there. You can't really see it on here. It's not focusing. There you go. Look at that. Shame they didn't do that with the BMW. Sort of lets that car down a little bit. This has even got side markers here. I think that's what they call them. It's not a legal requirement in the UK, so we don't have those on our cars. Should we compare it to an old Majorette car? Let's have a look, see what we've got. Let's have a look. Majorette car and see how the quality has changed. Let's have a look, see what we got here. What have we got? What have we got? An old BMW. Should we get an old BMW out? An old Volkswagen. Maybe an old Capri or a Jaguar type. Well, let's smooth these out of the way a little bit. And let's have a look at these. Smooth those out of the way. So, I've got a Ford Capri. Now, the Ford Capri was Europe's answer to the Ford Mustang. Obviously, Ford Mustang's American. These were made in Cologne. Absolutely loved by the British. That's why long after they'd finished selling them in Europe, still was selling them in Great Britain for another few years after they'd stopped selling them in Europe. So that's the Mustang by Majorette. That's Capri. I would say, apart from the fact that it's got a metal bottom, and you always knew it was a Majorette just because it had a metal bottom. So when you look at cars on eBay, for instance, and they turn them over so you can see what they are, you can tell instantly that it's a Majorette. In a few years to come, you're not going to know that's a Majorette, other than it's got these two little marks here. But that might not get picked up by a camera. But you're not going to know whether that's a Majorette or whether it's a Hot Wheels or anything really. But the quality is really, really good. Really, really impressed. Let's have a look to see what else we've got. Two BMWs. Obviously the scales are completely different. But there you go, look at that. The detail there on this one. The 7 Series is much, much better than this Z8. That's a shame. That's the only car that really lets these down. It was kind of the one that I was looking forward to, just because I thought it would look really nice. It looked really nice in the packet. But I think this one has to be my favourite out of all of them, apart from the fact that the wheels don't sound like a real car, whereas the others do. I've compared that to a Jaguar E-Type. So that the bonnet opens on the Jaguar E-Type, so you can see the V8. Bonnet doesn't open on this, but the doors open. That's great. So hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. Please subscribe, like, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.